Well, everyone wants to keep their children or their child safe, but not everyone knows exactly how to do it. Understanding the world of psychopaths and criminals is something that takes a lot of practice. Here to explain the hard truths about what could keep your daughter from becoming a victim of a tragic crime is Pat Brown, criminal profiler and author of How to Save Your Daughter's Life. Good morning to you, Pat.
Good morning.
I guess the title gets right to it, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I want to do, is save people's daughters' lives. Because one of the things we're doing today is we tend to think, oh, our kids will be okay. You know, our kids are smart. Well, our kids may be smart in certain ways, but they're quite frankly pretty dumb in other ways. I mean, if you look back when you were a teenager, are you going to tell me you were smart and everything you did was, you know, really wise? Or did you come back like 10 years later and say, oh, Mom, guess what I did when I was 16?
Sure.
And, yeah, oh, my God. You know.
Plus, there's so many helicopter parents these days who do everything and insulate the kids. So you've got some tips on how to keep your daughter's life safe. First, make sure you're fully aware of the dangers in our everyday world.
Yeah, that's something I think we've been sticking our heads into the sand. A lot of parents aren't aware of what's on the internet. They're not aware of what's down the street or what's at your own school. You know, like a girl getting into a relationship with just a boyfriend at school can be very, very risky. We saw with Laura Astley. I mean, she was murdered by her boyfriend. She just broke up with him, went to meet him one more time, and she ended up with her throat cut and thrown in a pond. I mean, you know, how horrible is that? And that was a sweet, nice girl. And she didn't realize that right in her own high school there were dangers.
Also, you got to know your kid. Know your daughter's personality and her weaknesses.
Yeah.
She might be kind and open and caring, and that could be detrimental.
Yeah, she can actually be too nice. A lot of too nice girls get stalkers, because a stalker will look around and say, who will let me into their world? Who will not say no if I keep pushing them? Who will let me get near them and just not get in my face and say, get away from me?
So what's the advice if you have a child like that?
Well, you have to teach them to stand up for themselves. You have to teach them that not everybody is worth being nice to. You know, you don't have, if they don't respect you, you don't have to respect them. And you really have to work with your child on that. Or you may have a different type of girl. You may have the girl who likes the wild side, you know. Don't pretend that she doesn't. You know, she does like the wild side. She may be lured into drugs, alcohol, and maybe the bad boys.
Right. So it's not all one size fits all. Don't allow negativity into your daughter's life, because her mental well-being is just as important as her physical.
Yeah, this is something, you know, we worry about what we feed our children. We have all kinds of ads about that. You know, what you put into your child's body can make them fat, can give them diabetes, you know, at a young age. But we don't worry about what we put into their heads. And some of the stuff going there is so negative these days. I mean, the videos, the television, the books they're reading is depressing. And they do this so much. I mean, you're doing like 8 hours a day in your room, hiding away, looking at negative stuff, or being in negative conversations, instead of getting those positive things in. So you have to be the gatekeeper for your daughter. I mean, you're the parent. You have to decide, this is unhealthy for my daughter. I'm cutting it out.
So why now to write this book? Do you think that this kind of a problem is on the rise? Why?
I think we're seeing a lot of it on the rise. Well, we have a lot of freedom in this country. I mean, we do as young women, we have a lot of freedom. That's a good thing. I mean, I like that. But that also means our daughters are out there in a world that's pretty scary. We know that, for example, date rape is on the rise. We hear about that all the time. What people don't realize is almost no date rape goes to court, because you can't prove it. He said, she said. True. But our girls are out drinking, and they're ending up in these bad situations. So the book talks about all kinds of situations: stalkers, rapists, serial killers, bad boyfriends, and risky relationships, even in your own home. Or just things your daughter might get drawn into, like prostitution, which has gotten worse as well.
Oh boy, that's a whole nother book.
Yes.
Your
no,
book
it's
is
in there.
How to Save Your Daughter's Life. Pat Brown, we thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Media